The demographics of South Africa encompasses about 53 million people of diverse origins, cultures, languages, and religions. The last census was held in 2011 and the next will be taken anywhere from 2016 to 2021. In 2011 statistics, South Africa counted 2.1 million foreigners in total. However, numerous reports suggest that that is a vast underestimation. The real figure may in fact be as high as 5 million, including some 3 million Zimbabweans. Population. Historical population UN. Population projections 2010 to 2040 age and population estimates. According to the 2010 revision of the United Nations Secretariat's World Population Prospects, South Africa's total population was 50,133,000 in 2010, compared to only 13,683,000 in 1950. In 2010, 30.1% of the people were children under the age of 15, 65.2% were between 15 and 64 years of age, and 4.6% were 65 or older. All population estimates are rounded to the nearest thousand. Historical censuses. 1904 census. South African population figures for the 1904 census. Source: 1960 census. Sources: Statesman's Yearbook 1967, 1968, Europa Yearbook 1969, fertility rate and CBR. Vital statistics. Registration of vital events in South Africa has improved considerably during the past decade, but still not considered to be complete for Black South Africans. The Population Department of the United Nations prepared the following estimates. United Nations estimates 2010 age and sex distribution. South African National Census of 2011 age and race distribution. Age distribution within each racial group by generation by 5-year cohorts. Racial composition of each age group in 2015. Racial groups. Statistics. South Africa asks people to describe themselves in the census in terms of 5 racial population groups. The 2011 census figures for these groups were Black African at 79.2%, White at 8.9%, Colored at 8.9%, Indian or other Asian at 2.5%, and other unspecified at 0.5%. The first census in South Africa in 1911 showed that whites made up 22% of the population. It declined to 16% in 1980, and 8.9% in 2011. Languages. South Africa has 11 official languages: Afrikaans, English, Ndebele, Northern Sotho, Swazi, Tswana, Tsonga, Venda, Xhosa, and Zulu. In this regard it is third only to Bolivia and India in number. While all the languages are formally equal, some languages are spoken more than others. According to the 2011 census, the 3 most spoken first languages are Zulu, Xhosa, and Afrikaans. Despite the fact that English is recognized as the language of commerce and science, it ranked 4th, and was spoken by only 9.6% of South Africans as a first language in 2011. The country also recognizes several unofficial languages, including Fanagalo, Ko, Lobdu, Nama, Northern Ndebele, Fadi, San and South African Sign Language. These unofficial languages may be used in certain official uses in limited areas where it has been determined that these languages are prevalent. Nevertheless, the populations are not such that they require require nationwide recognition. Many of the unofficial languages of the San and Khoi people contain regional dialects stretching northwards into Namibia and Botswana, and elsewhere. These people, who are a physically distinct population from other Africans, have their own cultural identity based on the hunter-gatherer societies. They have been marginalized to a great extent, and many of the languages are in danger of becoming extinct. Many white South Africans also speak other European languages, such as Portuguese, German, and Greek, while some Indians and other Asians in South Africa speak South Asian languages, such as Tamil, Hindi, Gujarati, Urdu, and Telugu. Although many South Africans are of Huguenot origin, South African French is spoken by fewer than 10,000 individuals countrywide. Congolese French is also spoken in South Africa by migrants. The primary sign language of deaf South Africans is South African Sign Language. Other sign languages among indigenous peoples are also used. By ethnicity, in 2011, the first language was Zulu for 28.1% of black residents, Xhosa for 19.8%, Northern Sotho for 11.2%, Tswana for 9.7%, Sesotho for 9.3%, Tsonga for 5.5%, Swati for 3.1%, Venda for 2.9%, English for 2.8%, Southern Ndebele for 2.6%, Afrikaans for 1.5%, while 3.4% had another first language. Among whites, Afrikaans was the first language for 59.1% of the population, compared to 35.0% for English. Other languages accounted for the remaining 5.9%. Religion. According to the 2001 national census, Christians accounted for 79.7% of the population. This includes Zion Christian, Pentecostal, Roman Catholic, Methodist, Dutch Reformed, Anglican. Members of other Christian churches accounted for another 36% of the population. Muslims accounted for 1.5% of the population, Hindus about 1.3%, and Jews 0.2%. 15.1% had no religious affiliation, 2.3% were classified as other, and 1.4% were unspecified. African indigenous churches made up the largest of the Christian groups. Some believe that many people claiming no affiliation with any organized religion adhere to traditional indigenous religions. Many people have syncretic religious practices combining Christian and indigenous influences. Muslims are largely found among the colored and Indian ethnic groups. They have been joined by black or white South African converts as well as immigrants from other parts of Africa. The Hindu population has its roots in the British colonial period, but later waves of immigration from India have also contributed to it. Most Hindus are of South Asian origin, but there are many who come from mixed racial stock. Some are converts due to the efforts of Hindu missionaries such as ISKCON. Other minority religions in South Africa are Sikhism, Jainism and Baha'i faith. By ethnicity, 87.9% of black residents are Christian, 9.5% have no religion, 0.2% are Muslim, 0.0% are Jewish, 0.0% are Hindu, and 2.3% have other or undetermined beliefs. 71.8% of white residents are Christian, 23.8% have no religion, 0.2% are Muslim, 1.4% are Jewish, and 0.0% are Hindu. 2.7% have other or undetermined beliefs. Immigration. South Africa hosts a sizable refugee and asylum seeker population. According to the World Refugee Survey 2008 published by the U.S. Committee for Refugees and Immigrants, this population numbered approximately 144,700 in 2007. Groups of refugees and asylum seekers numbering over 10,000 included people from Zimbabwe, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Somalia. These populations mainly lived in Johannesburg, Pretoria, Durban, Cape Town, and Port Elizabeth. Many refugees have now also started to work and live in rural areas in provinces such as Mpumalanga and KwaZulu-Natal. Statistics assumes in some of the calculations that there are less than 2 million immigrants in South Africa. Other institutions, like the Police and Médecins Sans Frontières place estimate the figure at 4 million. Immigration figures. Immigration assumptions by Statistics South Africa to South Africa based on race. Negative numbers represent net migration from South Africa to other countries. Largest municipalities. Graphs and maps.